to the Prophecy Club. I'm going to entitle this broadcast, The Overthrow of the American Government, or The American Military Conducts a Coup and Overthrows the Government. However you want to word it, and I'm going to ask you to send this out to all of your friends. I'm going to specifically word this and put this together, assuming that a friend gets this and they don't know what is going on. And so we're going to kind of start from the beginning, and we're going to walk them through what is coming. First of all, the Bible says, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. So even though the words might not be in the Bible, if 2 people, especially if they don't know each other, are getting the same information, it's basically saying you can trust it. Now, first of all, before I give you the new information, since we have some new listeners for this broadcast, let me refresh your memory. So in 1984, a Romanian pastor arrived in America. He was sent here to give America a warning. This was the warning, and it was very long, but this is the abbreviated version. That the fall of America will start, didn't say end, it will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. I used to think that that was maybe just rioting in the streets, breaking and looting and writing nasty words on the walls of the businesses. But when I actually looked up for the first time the actual definition of internal revolution, it is the overthrow of the government by the people. Now, let me read that sentence again. The fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. That internal revolution is, in my opinion, the military takeover of America, and we have lots of reasons I'm about to cover why it is imminent. It's about to happen. Started by the communists, and I believe this started by the communists is when DJT really won, but the communists cheated, and so consequently that forced the military to rise up and take over America to put the right guy back in. To continue the prophecy, some of the people will start fighting against the government. In other words, there's going to be some people that don't like DJT being put in office, and all of the corruption in America is going to rise up because they like the corruption. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 other countries will attack. The Russians will bombard America, and America will burn. That was given to Dmitry Duduman in 1984. However, in 2001, the same angel Gabriel appeared to Terry Bennett over a 4-day period, showed him many things. This is a couple of sentences from what he was told. For a while, America will have a fractional government. The military will step in and seize control of our federal government. You'd call it a coup, but in all honesty, it'll be to help our nation. That's why the military will step in. In other words, the military steps in to help our nation to kick out the bad guys and to put in the guy that really won, or the good guy. Then, April 2, 2021, Jack Rigney had a confirming dream. I saw armored battalion of tanks, Humvees, and roof-mounted machine guns and armored personnel carriers with cannons go to the Capitol, the Supreme Court, and the White House. One group went to each of the buildings. Army personnel disarmed all the Secret Service men, guards, and police guarding those 3 buildings. Then the Army personnel went back into the 3 buildings and took whatever they wanted. Now, we believe that they took evidence. We'll get to that. He saw the military take temporary control of the nation to arrest the evildoers and the wrongdoers, and that's the way the Constitution would have it, he says. Under certain circumstances, the military can step in and take temporary control of the nation in order to put things back in order, and that's what I saw. Now, here's the new information. Now, what I'm about to read is basically been told to us by several other people, which I'm going to get to. Now, it's one thing when a housewife says she heard from God, had a dream. It's another thing when another just common person that is not even in the ministry has about the same dream. But it's another thing when a senior prophet of the Lord, an apostle that has started 300 churches, does massive crusades all around the nation, been in most of the nations of the earth, and has spoken to 10,000 people, been in the ministry for some 25 years. And That's what happened. He called me yesterday. I'm talking about Pastor Massey. He's going to be at our Solemn September Assembly, September 6 to 8. He has made several DVDs with Prophecy Club. Him and his wife have been in our home several times. I know him real well. He's been at all of our crusades, all of our meetings. You might say he is part of our team, meaning we trust him, we know him, and we like him and his wife. So here's what happened. Leslie is currently, she's been invited to go to Dubai and also to Pakistan with him. And they were in a conversation, and Leslie comes in while I was making a broadcast and said, "You got to hear this." So she put him on speakerphone. This is what he told me. Now he says, "Now I'm not saying this is thus saith the Lord," because, see, he doesn't understand all of the other things that the other people have told us that I'm about to read to you, because, he's got his own ministry. He doesn't have time to follow Prophecy Club every day. But what he's about to say confirms what the other people have said. But in that he is a full-time servant of the Lord and his primary ministry is flowing in miracles, this one you can count on, which is why I'm asking you to send this out to all of your friends. So he says, "I dreamed that I was in a big room with Mr. Trump, and all the media people from ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, even CBN and Pat Robertson was there. He said the door was then locked. Once the door was locked, the televisions on the wall began broadcasting the real story of what really happened in the election and how DJT really won the election. They all started shaking. Some stood up and stomped their feet. The televisions were set to their channels, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, again, even CBN. They were all watching their channels that had been taken over, and they were all reporting that DJT had now taken over the entire country, and they could not stop the broadcast. The entire system behind the media was all taken over by DJT and his associates. They were all helpless. That's so important, I'm going to read it again. This is August 4th, Pastor Massey. "I dreamed I was in a big room with DJT and all the media. ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, even CBN and Pat Robertson were there. The door was then locked. Once the door was locked, the televisions on the wall began broadcasting the real story of what happened in the election and how DJT really won the election. Then they all started shaking. Some got angry, stood up, stomped their feet, but the televisions were set to their channels, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, and CBN. They were all reporting that DJT had taken over the entire country and that they could not stop this broadcast. The entire system behind the media was all taken over by DJT and his team, and they were helpless to stop it." Headline, "Arrests ensue, DJT inaugurated, June 17th. By the way, all of these are recent, and they don't know each other. I mean, this guy lives in Canada. Prophet Barry Wunsch, spelling last name W-U-N-C-H. I woke up about 1:30 in the morning. I saw the front cover of a newspaper, and it said, 'Victory, DJT sweeps the nation.' Now, understand, this is not talking about November the 3rd of 2020. This vision was shown to him June 17th of 2021. So it's not talking about the past. It's talking about something he saw in the future. Victory. DJT sweeps the nation. It was time for the nation to celebrate like after a time of war, how the celebration comes. I saw masses of people coming out onto the streets with American flags, celebrating. There was still some work to be done. There was still some high tension in the air, but I was taken to a fence just outside of the White House, and I was shown a huge crowd gathering. The American people came out onto the streets to see what was going on. I saw people who had conspired and engineered evil surrounded inside the White House with nowhere to run, nowhere to escape. It was the end for them. I saw military troops supporting for safety. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute. You just told us that no one's in the White House. Understand that this is a picture of what's happening. It's not saying it's literal. In other words, it's simply saying the bad guys are about to be rounded up. Okay? I saw military troops supporting safety enter the White House and other buildings and escort out the evil ones like prisoners of war. brought out onto the front lawn of the White House, lined up row upon row in handcuffs and shackles. Their day was over, and the crowd cheered in great outbursts as each group was brought out and put on display. The people in the streets cheered as evil was finally being dealt with. The patriots were singing anthems and songs of victory in the streets and giving thanks to God. All the corrupted ones were extracted and marched into the street, surrounded by army, marching them through the streets in humiliation. They were about to face the consequences for all their evil and corruption. They were brought into the portable holding area like a mobile army base unit for processing to face righteous judges. They were going on trial, facing justice for the highest of consequences, and would get all they had coming to them for their crimes against humanity. Then I was taken to the inauguration ceremony for DJT. Surrounded by military, DJT was then inaugurated, and I'm going to put in here the number, the 19th. Okay, he was inaugurated as President of the United States. There was no showboating. This was serious business. The job was finished, and it is now time to heal and rebuild. I saw the public that had been opposed to DJT instantly see the truth, that they could no longer deny. They could now see the evil that had been done by these corrupt people, and that spirit of anarchy in them had been broken. I saw big military cargo planes, open ramps, and special teams from the United States loaded pallets of legal documents, probably evidence, departing to other nations to go and do likewise to foreign dignitaries, awaiting their arrival in other nations. Planes were strategically set in place to arrest and bring foreign corrupt leaders to justice. The world will never be the same. I watched them deploy into nation after nation as they rejoiced in the streets as justice was served, and freedom, truth, and righteousness flowed like waters. Those who were left standing had a great reward. It was revival time, a time to heal, so great things are coming. Now, let me summarize, because sometimes I've got so much information I just can't put it across in one broadcast. So this next thing is a summary, none of it coming from me, by the way. It is the summary of prophecies or dreams or visions that other people have seen in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Tanks rolling into Washington, D.C., the military staging a coup and kicking out JB, inaugurating DJT as the 19th president of the restored Republic of the United States, back under the true Constitution. And that, as I said, may possibly have been fulfilled by the 65,000 National Guard troops in Washington back in November, December. Then, massive arrests of high-level political bankers, business people will ensue. They will scrap the current SWIFT financial system that has been destroying our financial system and providing free fiat money to the 13, quote, seed of the serpent royal families, unquote, also called the Moloch and Baal worshippers. The dollar will go away, as Terry Bennett was told, and a new currency will come out, and bringing in that quantum financial system will turn the wealth of the world back to the people. Then they will employ the Samson option. If the cabal, the Moloch and the Baal worshippers, are taken out, they will destroy the world. The Samson option would be the suitcase nukes, a new virus, cyber attacks, or all of the above. Once the cabal sees that they have lost control, they will then detonate the suitcase nukes, reportedly some 35 of them hidden all across America. August the 11th of 2021 is the announced date of an emergency broadcast system test. The question is it just going to be a test of the emergency broadcast system, or is it going to be announcing a coup, or will another announcement follow it announcing the coup? Mike Lindell of MyPillow, currently, as I speak, is now conducting his cyber symposium August 10 to 12, in which he is offering a $5 million reward for anyone that can prove that his election research is not true. Rumors say that DJT will be inaugurated August 15, 2021. Others say August 20. I don't know. But will God consider the suitcase nukes to be judgment, bringing in the sevenfold miracles? This is the time to send this program out to your friends, my brothers and sisters. You have friends that are about to be shocked at what is about to happen. Okay, maybe it doesn't happen in August. Maybe it is delayed to October. Maybe it's delayed to January. I don't know when, but I have so many people that are confirming each other that do not know each other. I have dreams, I have visions from many people, all saying the same thing. Here's another one. This is talking about the financial difficulty. George White, 7/29 of 2021. All of these are recent. I awakened to hear an audible voice say, condition, code red. Hackers cause chaos. That's 2 sentences. Condition, code red. Hackers cause chaos. The goal is to cause financial systems to collapse, he was told. Many will succumb to this attack. Surely this will keep some from prospering, but will also reward many. Look for my sign to see the signal to begin this reset. It will be very clear when it happens. Many will be confused and desperate, but fear not. You will not be caught unawares. The UN will step in and add to the chaos, but I will use this time for my benefit. Not order out of chaos, but my will be done. See that you be not deceived. My man, my servant, DJT, will come to the forefront and bring relief and a plan that I have prepared to save this country and, ultimately, the world. Be sure to keep praying, keep believing, and interceding. You have the victory. Let me remind you, March 9th, 2021, 3:17 in the afternoon, I woke up from a nap and I heard 4 audible words. Massive arrests, massive arrests. Now, in that it said it twice, it's confirming. Yep, Stan, you did hear that. Now let's jump to 7/24/2021. All of these are recent. This comes to us from David Phillips. He works part-time with the Prophecy Club and has for like 8 years. And he's had several other dreams that have been accurate for me and Prophecy Club. I believe he's hearing from God. He said, I dreamed that we were eating at a restaurant with friends and everyone was just having a good time. And the waitress said that they had actually given us the wrong menu, saying some things were actually more expensive, but since they'd given us the menu, they would honor the lower prices. She also said that they were low on some items such as chocolate, and that annoyed us a little bit, but the staff was working hard to please and to keep the business running. We began to watch a movie showing outside. Halfway through it, all of a sudden, it was abruptly turned off. Everything went dark. The restaurant then announced that they were closing right now, as in immediately, and told everyone to get up, stand up, and walk out right now, and that the restaurant would be closed for 6 months. Everyone panicked. They were all in shock, but we all stood to our feet, gathered our loved ones, and left. I think that's saying that the financial difficulty that is about to come upon America will come upon us just that quick. One day it's fine. The next day, it's not fine. Now, as a further confirmation, this comes from a housewife. Her name is Anita, 7/29/2021. The TV came on. Now, this is a vision, not a dream. This vision. The emergency beeping sound came on, and the TV began to say, we have tragic news. The president, JRB, has died. The vision then shifted to KH, and NP, plotting and discussing how JB had died, and now KH would become president, and NP would become vice president, and now they could do all of the evil things that they had planned to do to America. But then everything went silent, and the vision shifted back to the same voice, saying, America will not go without a president. Due to the election cheating of 2020, DJT is now your president, and the vision ended. Is she just making this up, or are we hearing in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses? 5/17/2021. This comes to us from Jason Meeks. He lives in Kentucky. He said, in the dream, I was lifted up in the sky, and I looked down upon the state of Texas, and I've never been in Texas. And I saw 3 small nuclear detonations hit Dallas, Fort Worth, and Lubbock. After the explosions, I saw people walking. No cars on the road. People were walking to the cities for refuge, food, water, basics of life, and safety for themselves and their families. Now, I skipped several paragraphs. Let's go on to the next one. Same guy, Jason Meeks, 7/30/2021. The dream started out by we stopped at an ATM machine, and basically it was charging him $42 to get $40 out. As we drove back home, we stopped at a major bank. I saw the TV screens were showing massive arrests. An alert went out on my cell phone that DJT was assuming control as the new president. I expected people would be rioting and looting, but people were happy. They're celebrating the streets almost like VJ Day in World War II. In the dream, a man came to me and started crying, saying all of his bosses had been arrested and rounded up, and they've been telling me now that I'm in charge of the bank. He was a Christian. He'd been praying for this for years. The news was showing people being handcuffed, rounded up, and put on planes like commercial jetliners. As people took to the streets in victory and celebration, we joined in. We jumped on the back of a fire truck to catch a ride in the parade because the streets were so full you could not walk. Everything was amazing. Then I heard a huge explosion. A suitcase nuke had been detonated within the city. I didn't see the explosion, but I saw the shock wave. We jumped off the truck, round into the restaurant for protection. We were far enough away where there was no damage to us, just broken windows and glasses like an earthquake. Then an alert came over my cell phone saying, a nuclear emergency has occurred. Shelter in place. We were scared, but still alive. Now, skip down to the very bottom, and it said, and in this dream, I knew that this man that had something to do with starting these suitcase nukes, DJT did know him, but did not know that he was a traitor, meaning there's traitors involved with what is coming for America. I read this the other day, but I think it bears repeating, and I've got to make some points I think I didn't make the other day. April 2021, and this is the summarized version from Charles Turner. He said, I had a vision. I was in the room, and I heard a loud rumbling under my feet and rolling behind me. On the wall in front of me began to appear numbers. The numbers were being calculated, and they contained algebra and geometry. I saw cash dropping into an abyss-type place. There was no end to it. Cash was disappearing into the darkness. I saw dollars begin to fade on each side to the point where you couldn't even see the numbers on the bills, but the numbers continued to fade away. I was made to know that the dollar is going away, and a cashless system of digital numbers was coming in to be our new medium of exchange. I heard the Lord say, digital. And I said, oh my God, the cash is fading away, and digital is coming in as the new domain. Now, here's the part I didn't comment on the other day. As you know, I've written a book called Miss the Mark. And in that book, I talk about Starlink. There's some 12,000 satellites that they plan to put up here in the near term, and a total of some 42,000 low Earth orbiting satellites in the long term. Essentially, it's going to be a new intranet, and pretty much everything on the planet is all going to be hooked into this eventually. But it's going to be such that you'll have a cell phone and you'll have a Starlink link to your QFS system, which is going to be your account, and it's going to be digital. What they plan to do in the near term is they'll first go to a paper currency, a new paper currency, and then eventually they'll just totally do away with the paper currency and they'll go digital. This is what he's seeing. This is what he's talking about. And this is according to finalwakeupcall.info, which I do not necessarily recommend you go and read other things from them. But this thing I think is probably pretty accurate. He says that they're starting a new QFS system, a quantum financial system, and at last report it was 11 satellites tied into a quantum computer. What's a quantum computer? Well, if you take your garden hose, turn it on full blast, the amount of water that comes out, if you could liken that to the fastest human computer that has ever been made, compare that amount of water to the amount of water going over Niagara Falls, and that's how much faster a quantum computer is, and it uses less energy than the human computer. I say human because the quantum computer was given to humans by extraterrestrial galactics that are supposedly helping us. And no, I don't believe that. I think it'll eventually turn into the mark of the beast system. But this is where, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on their right hand or in their forehead. And that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here's wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Meaning, this new QFS system will be a global financial system. And when everybody's hooked into it, guess what? They can turn everybody or anybody off from that system. And if you're not in the system, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. Now let's go back to the vision he saw. I looked to my left and I saw vaccinations. And I saw doctors collaborating in a new type of association, and they had all agreed to join. It was mandatory. They were proud and arrogant that they were being brought in to do the anti-V, we'll call it. Immediately I said, but Lord, I'm not taking the anti-V. Then on the right wall, I saw laws being passed. Attorneys were becoming more and more aggressive, getting bigger and fatter. I understand that they were being paid a tremendous amount of money to pass laws to implement this cashless currency. The anti-V was part of the plan, with the attorneys passing new laws, and they're going to be stabbing people in the back. Then I heard the word totalitarian government. I was immediately in the center of the United States, and I could see all across the land from all four sides of the United States. Behind me, I saw totalitarian government. I said, Lord, we're being squeezed in. Then I saw the church nationwide and globally being bitten. It was like there was something coming from the backside, from the coastline, biting the church. It was eating, taking bites out of the church, and the church was getting smaller and smaller, and the church began to claw and pull apart and become separated. It would get eaten. I saw all four sides were closing in. Then the church screamed and yelled out to God, Lord, help us, help us. We're being closed in on from all sides. I heard the Lord saying, 2020. Suddenly, a spiritual wall encircled the entire United States, and it came up as a wall. I was made to know that it was seduction. The Lord spoke and said, the spirit of seduction came upon America in March of 2020. In other words, the V. My people are being seduced. Warn them that the time is shorter than everyone thinks. These things must needs come to pass, but fear not, I'm coming. What it's saying is that a new financial system is coming in. It's going to be associated and tied to the V and the anti-V, and it's going to cause the church to begin to fall apart, to separate, and not to do well until they cry out to God, which is what I was told. When the judgment hits, so will my miracles. Order School of the Watchman Teachers Package. You get 2 by 3 foot, full-color, updated prophecy charts, my personal handwritten spiral ring notebook of the book of Revelation, 5 DVDs of the School of the Watchman, all valued at $325 for a gift of $200 at prophecyclub.com. School of the Watchman Teachers Package, 2 foot by 3 foot, full-color, updated prophecy charts, my personal handwritten book of Revelation, the 5 DVDs of the School of the Watchman, valued at $325 for a gift of $200 at prophecyclub.com. Pastors inviting me in to teach the School of the Watchman get the package free. 785-266-1112 for the invitation. I'm calling all believers to bring your shofar and fast 48 hours and pray together September 6 to 8. We're declaring war against the devil and proclaiming victory throughout the land. Go to watchmanstrumpet.com and get signed up. watchmanstrumpet.com for all the details. If you're really looking for the truth about the rapture, I honestly believe you will find it in this book. The truth is the Holy Spirit knows the truth about the rapture. And one of the reasons that the people other than post-trib can't seem to find peace about this is because the Holy Spirit is trying to tell them that they don't have the truth. That is, until they find post-trib. But either way, this is going to help you to find the peace about the rapture. I really recommend you get it. We offer them in shrink-wrap sets of 10. 1 for 20, 10 for 30, and 20 for 50 at prophecyclub.com. CornerstoneAssetMetals.com is owned by a prophecy student who reads his King James Bible and supports Prophecy Club. Call CornerstoneAssetMetals.com for gold, silver, palladium, rhodium bars, or coins. They can help you roll over your IRA, 401k, so tell CornerstoneAssetMetals.com Prophecy Club sent you.